back again to this show. Hope you all are safe and doing your bit to fight Corona right now. Today, yet again, we have got someone very interesting with us. Um, well, he's just not looking after the window business. He's doing a lot more than that. He has one leg of his in window industry. He has one leg in the furniture industry. He has one hand in building material, and he has one hand, the other one, in the automobile sector. I am hoping and I'm assuming his mind is all over the place though. So we have Ajay Khurana today with us, Chairman, Rehau, India. Welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Karan. So nice to be with you.
Thank you for joining us. So before I start, I want to understand, because Rehau is a big group. You have different verticals. So how are you managing? Do you have different days for different verticals?
Not exactly. It goes with the flow. And over a period of time, I've gotten used to it. So you have to channelize your energies to where it is needed. So depending upon when I'm needed where, I shift my time and manage it accordingly.
Well, I'm finding hard to just manage the being part of the fenestration industry, and you're doing a lot more than that. So good luck to you. I don't know how you're managing to do that. We'll try and understand that bit in this course of time right now. So I understand you had a very unique situation just before the lockdown with your son. I hope everything is okay, and if you can just tell us, share a little more what happened.
Okay, my son graduated from, he did his master's from A School of London in sustainability and environmental design. He passed out in January and he was looking out for a placement in London itself before the scene there went very grim. And so he was still there and we were a bit worried. So there were phone calls every day, 2-3 times a day, to just make sure he's indoors, safe, and he's not venturing out much except to buy the essentials and the groceries. So yeah, so there was a bit of a concern. And then finally we could manage that he comes home through one of the evacuation flights of Vande Bharat mission. And then he came in, quarantined in a hotel in Nehru City for 14 days, and then was back home about a week ago. So quite harrowing time, difficult, yes, but in the end, everything went well, went smooth.
Well, I can just imagine how stressful that would have been for the entire family, especially when it's about your children. It can really, really stress one out. But good to know everything is okay and he's back home and now enjoying time with the family now. So I understand your family is originally from undivided part of India, now Pakistan, and your father moved to Delhi long back during the partition time. That would have been a really tough time. If you could just briefly tell us how the situation, because it would have meant leaving everything behind. Did that apply for you guys as well?
Yes, so both my parents, my father, my mother, they are from Lahore, Pakistan, and they moved to India at the time of partition. So obviously, like everybody else, they had to leave everything behind, and it was a difficult time, unprecedented, like what we are facing today, probably even worse. Uh, but yes, they worked hard through it. My father, he started very young when he was there. He was still small in school, so he was selling vegetables, earning, paying for his school fees, and then he graduated from Zakir Hussain College in Delhi. He got a job with Unilever at that point of time, and he retired. He worked all through with Hindustan Unilever, and he retired from Unilever. So yes, the family also at that point of time faced a lot of other challenges apart from finance. Uh, they had to live in a refugee area.
I'm sure the humble background somehow does that to one. And yeah, those tough times were there. But it seems you were born and brought up in Delhi. So will it be right to say that you're a Pakka Delhiite?
Yes, absolutely. So I've been born right in Delhi, did my schooling, everything in Delhi. I've been a Delhiite through and through, while I've traveled all through India and overseas also. But all my life I've lived in Delhi.
तो आप भी कई बार वो बोलते हो रास्ते में किसी को कि तू जानता नहीं है मैं कौन हूँ.
Unfortunately, I don't have that political cloud I wish I had.
Well, the chairman of Rehau itself could have been a big name to use, I guess. I don't know whether you've done that or not, but yeah, typical part of
not,
Delhi.
not, 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 not really. It doesn't pay off. No, one needs to be very careful, especially in Delhi. I had a very harrowing time once. A gun pointed at my temple. This was an incident at Chanakya. We came out. My son was still, I think, 2 or 3 years, and we just came out of the movie hall. We were watching a movie. Came out, and my car was parked outside Chanakya. In those days, the parking was just on the roads, and there was a Toyota car parked behind my small Zen, and somebody then drove just past, brushing from the behind the car, just moved past that Toyota and brushed my car. And I rushed forward and I just tried to stop that Toyota, and I asked him, "Guy, what are you doing? You've just brushed my car." He came out, gun in hand, and put it here. I had no choice but to apologize to him. 2 days before, I read in the newspaper that the who's of the grandson of a who's of Delhi killed somebody. So I thought maybe I don't want to become a headline of the newspaper again. So it's better to apologize.
So, sir, you have worked in different companies and had different roles as well. So, I mean, there has been quite a transition in all of this at the same time. Um, but one thing which stands out is that you always worked in MNCs somehow. It's been a Japanese, Danish, and now a German company. I mean, Indian companies you thought were not good enough for you?
See, I started with Hero Honda. It was a joint venture, but yes, with the Japanese culture. Then I worked with an Indian house, a pure Indian house, Shri Ram Group. They had Japanese technical collaborations, but purely an Indian corporate environment of the Shri Ram Group. And then I moved to Mitutoyo, which was a Japanese company exposed to the Japanese culture. Then I moved on to a Danish company, uh, Roland's, and now to Rehau, which is a Swiss company with German pedigree. So it just happened. It was not designed as such. It just happened. The opportunities came my way, and yes, I am now probably quite accustomed to working with MNCs. I understand their culture more than I could understand the culture of an Indian corporate house.
But at the same time, I'm sure because what I have understood and when I did my research about you a lot more, uh, chairmanship hasn't come to you easy. I mean, a lot of sweat and hard work has gone in, from working in assembling line to going to the transport nagas. I mean, you have really handled different situations and been in different situations rather. Um, uh, it would have been quite a learning curve that way for you. And I mean, when you look back, it's been a lot of hard work and sweat that's been put in.
Absolutely. I started from the grassroots levels. So when I was in Hero Honda, my first assignment was to learn how to dismantle and assemble an engine, CD100, in 40 minutes flat. That was the target. So first few months, that is what I was doing in Hero Honda in the training center. And sometimes when had finished assembling the engine, after dismantling, assembling, washing, I would suddenly find a washer outside. Then I had to dismantle the engine again and assemble it again. So in the night, I used to dream about nuts and bolts and washers. So it was quite on my mind in those days. And then I worked with Shriram Pistons. There, I was always moving around within the organization. I started with the back office, commercial department. I moved to sales, OEMs, and STUs in North India, selling pistons to the replacement trade, uh, going to the transport nagars, having tea with mechanics. Unfortunately, with their dirty hands, the cup was used to be all greased all around. So I had to find space to put my lips on the cup to sip the hot and lovely tea they used to offer with all their love. And then I've been moving around from service to sales to commercial. I also worked for a very brief period with the management office of late Dr. Charatram. Then I moved to Mitutoyo, which was a liaison office. I joined as a resident engineer, and by the time I left, I was the resident manager for the organization. And again, a very comprehensive sales, service, promotion, controlling and coordinating all marketing activities of the agents and dealers. And then I was with the automotive uh, OEM division of Roland's. We were selling the V belts right from the moped, Hero moped. In those times, the mopeds also used to sell moped to HCV, Tata and Leyland. So again, different type of industry, but purely automotive, and exposed me to all the automotive OEMs in India. I got exposed to their cultures, the Koreans, the Japanese, Ford, American. And then I joined Rehau as a sales office manager in 2001. So from a sales office manager position, I moved to National Sales Director for Construction Division in 2007. And I've been in the current position as the chairman of the Sub-Regional Management Board South Asia since 2011.
That has a lot of vast experience out there, and probably the kind of different experiences that you have, that's probably why you connect a lot better with people. And all those people who know you personally know the have seen the humbleness and the way you connect, and you probably don't distinguish among people. So probably that's where you score a lot better than a lot of other people who are out there. uh, but one of my biggest questions for you is, what I notice is you work for 2 to 4 years in various things, various organizations that you work, and it's from 2001 that you've been in Rehau, which probably it's like a lifetime in a way. What changed? What changed drastically once you joined Rehau?
Rehau has been much longer. Again, like with Toyo and Roland's, Rehau also was just a new entrant in India. They had just started manufacturing while they were in India since 1997. The plant came up in 2001. So there was a lot to do, and and the culture really inspired me. The Rehau culture, the German Swiss culture, or the leadership culture that we had in Rehau. There was a lot to learn. There was a lot to deliver. There was a lot of independence to perform, and I took on this opportunity. And there was a lot of variety to do, from medical to furniture to industrial solutions, a bit of automotive, building solutions, windows. So there was a lot of variety which kept me on, and I really put in my best, and the work was rewarded. The company grew, and that growth and the rewards, they continuously came in both ways. So and I kept moving up the ladder, and grew the organization as well.
Well, you clearly did. There's no doubt on that. And Rehau has become quite a successful brand now in India. Um, I'm asking you again, though, I asked this to Farid sir as well when he was on the show. It's been quite a long stint, and right now, heading Rehau, being the chairman right there at the top. I mean, do you ever plan to pass on the baton, या गद्दी पे बैठने का plan है?
नहीं, baton is there to be passed on. है ना? और ये गद्दी जो है ना, I mean, this is just a chair. Okay, and I am a leader has to be a facilitator first, right? So this is chairman is just a title. I think what my objective is to develop further leaders. So we have a leadership pipeline, and people have grown in the organization from their humble beginnings to where they are today. A lot of my colleagues who started with me or even later, they are on key positions. So I'll be very happy. I work with that push formula. So if people are able to push me out, I'll be very happy to be pushed upwards.
Well, it's going to be really difficult to fill those shoes for anyone, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. I understand you do love mentoring sessions also within your group. You share your knowledge and working as a coach as well. ये जबरदस्ती का ज्ञान है या actually it's helping a lot to people?
Yeah, it's possible. Depends upon people also how trainable they are and how do they take it. But I have to do my bit. I've learned a lot from my superiors. Fortunately, I've had very good superiors in the past and within Rehau. So whatever I have learned, whatever I have read myself, the way I have trained myself, I like to pass it on. So there are people who have learned a lot around me and they have moved up. And normally people like to sit around with me. They like to know what their improvement areas are, how they would want to work around it. So I think it's good. I like to help youngsters. I like to help people around me so that they also can move up the organization through the learning, through their self-learning, or whatever I can teach them, coach them.
That's good to know. I mean, I'm assuming it seems when you're talking about all of this, it seems you enjoy this a lot, the entire mentoring and being a coach. Is this kind of a life that you look at yourself beyond Rehau, post Rehau, probably at one day?
It is possible. While I've not really thought about it, but it is quite possible. I have been reading a lot. My son has been very interested, and I used to read a lot of Panchtantra, Jatak Kathaएं, mythology, and other books to him. So I personally believe, because I've read a lot of mythology. Mythology has a lot to do with management. If you read Mahabharata, Ramayana, uh, about teachings of Buddha, so it has a lot of life lessons in it and a lot of management thoughts in it. So this I try to incorporate in my work, and this is what since I have been reading these books to my son when he was young. All these things are very fresh. They remain very fresh and alive with me. So I try and mentor my people accordingly. And when it's connected to a story, people are also interested and they listen carefully. And if they learn out of it, good for them.
Hmm. Interest in mythology makes me wonder, are you someone who believes in God a lot? Are you someone who worships any particular God?
See, I would say my wife is an Arya Samaji, so all my in-laws are Arya Samaji. My father was an atheist. My mother is very religious. So I think I am a mix of everybody. I don't go to religious places unless I find the architecture very interesting, not for worshipping, but I do go to all the religious places. I'd love to go to the church or a temple, a Sikh temple, or a masjid, wherever I can go to. So it's more from the history point of view, the historical perspective, the architecture, not really for worship.
What
So
I
that's
am
that's
getting out right now there is convenience. भैया जब चाहिए होगा जैसे चाहिए होगा उस हिसाब से देख लेंगे. It seems convenience is the way out there. It seems you travel a lot also. I mean, if I'm not wrong, just before the lockdown itself, even at this juncture, and over the years, you pretty much lived out of suitcase. That can be very taxing. At the same time, it can have its own pros and it can have its own advantages. If I'm not wrong, your initial travels, your had also some great experiences. What I understand.
See, I have been traveling all over since my first job when I was in Hero Honda. So we were running service camps throughout the country, and I think I was traveling 21 days a month. And my first official trip was to Srinagar. So it was quite peaceful at that point of time. And I had two colleagues. One of them was Kashmiri, one of them was a Delhiite. And suddenly we decided, okay, let's go to Gulmarg. And we went to Gulmarg. The moment we turned into Gulmarg, and it was spellbound, it was completely snow white, it was snowing. So it was quite an experience. Normally, people go to Srinagar to watch snowfall, and here I was, my first official trip of my professional career, and I could enjoy the snowfall. So yes, very interesting. And even in Shriram Pistons, I was traveling to the same extent, 3 weeks in a month, traveling to the interiors of Punjab, Haryana, Himachal, deep interiors, all the beautiful mountain spots, taking the Himachal roadways bus and traveling through. So it was time consuming, the travel. It was very interesting as well. You meet so many people, different states, different backgrounds, different cultures. You talk to them, you learn from them. So it's quite enriching, this experience of travel. And then with the Mitutoyo, Rollins, and my current job also, here we have 3 plants, and I have to go to Pune at least twice a month, or I was going to Pune twice a month. Of course, this may change in future with the new normal. But yes, so far I was traveling and building a relationship with customers, with dealers, OEMs, all kind of customers. So it did involve some travel for sure.
Well, that would have been quite taxing also at the same time. Makes me wonder, have you reached that situation mentally where if given an opportunity, you'd want to stay at home?
See, if given an option, definitely home is the best, east or west, as they say, and your bed is the best. Is it much better or bestest than any other 5 star or 7 star category hotel bed, right? So, I mean, I can share with you that in any hotel, even if there is a small aircon noise, I have to get the air conditioner mechanic and have it set right. I don't want any noise in the hotel. But when I'm at home, I can keep the window open, and even if the traffic noise is there, the trucks honking by, I can sleep peacefully.
I'm assuming because you just talked about home and enjoying the time at home, makes me wonder. Lockdown would have done great things to you in that way. Staying at home, um, it's been stressful on the work front, but otherwise, personally, lockdown would have just done great things to you.
Yes, so lockdown it was stressful. It's still stressful. The pandemic is around. You cannot ignore it. That's the reality of life. We have to coexist, and the life will not be the same. We have to get used to the new life around you. But yes, on the other hand, I had a lot of time initially with my wife at home, which is not normal. So we were doing all the household chores. We were distributing. While earlier also, I was doing, because my wife is also working. She's with Indian Oil. She's responsible for the finance division in one of the divisions. So I was also earlier also helping her, but this time it was a little more balanced. Earlier she was doing more, definitely, but this time it was more balanced, and we had to do everything from cleaning utensils, cutting vegetables, mopping, sweeping, everything. So buying the groceries, going out once in a while, get that. So and then we had to keep ourselves uh, again fit. So while a lot of these household chores were burning a lot of calories, but we were still going out in the mornings and in the evenings. In fact, our me too, the both of us, me too time and the exercise time, it really doubled. And we were very regulated on our diets, because my wife was already on a fruit diet, and I just followed that for convenience sake. We were fitter, we were leaner, we were more agile during this lockdown period. Luckily for us, our society where I live, we could walk around within the society premises, and we were doing that morning, evening.
Um, you mentioned about ma'am, your better half also working, and she had to start a little more earlier than you when it came to working and going to office, and you had to do a lot of work at home at the same time. दाल आटे का भाव समझ आया थोड़ा ज्यादा.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, बहुत बहुत समझ आ गया, वो सब समझ आ गया. सो at times earlier I used to complain about the maid also कि ये झाड़ू कैसे लगाती है, अब मेरे को पता लगता है. Yeah, so she started on 20th of April, long before we did, because she's with Indian Oil. That's an essential sector, the oil sector. So and I was alone at home. I had to manage everything. Yes, so सब समझ आ गया जिंदगी में.
But it's also good to know you did your bit, and you did contribute from your side, and that's probably learning for a lot of people out there. You don't become bigger or smaller by helping your partners in these situations, and if you haven't done that, it's unfortunate, because these are times when one needs to contribute equally and doing all the work and helping your partner or helping your family in these situations.
Absolutely. You have to be a leader wherever you are. You have to be a leader. A leader does not mean just leading people. Leader means you have to lead yourself also to the tasks which are there in front of you. Okay, so whether it's office, home, or wherever you are, you have to initiate things. You have to do your bit. You have to lead things, and do whatever you can do wherever you are.
You've been always been conscious about your health and fitness, and been, it would be apt to say you're quite a fitness freak also. So did you follow your own routine in terms of the teas and the coffees, or that also changed based on the convenience?
Yeah, that also changed a bit based on not only on convenience but also on what you eat. So I last 2 months I've not had tea or coffee, maybe just a handful of times. While I was not a big tea or coffee drinkers, but when you are in the office, you like to have at least 2 cups of tea or coffee in a day. But in the last 60, 70 days, I have had my tea only on maybe Sundays, coffee only once in the last 70 days. So because I changed my diet and I was more on a fruit diet in the mornings, and after fruit, you really don't like to have the tea. And then you're so engaged in the afternoon because while in the office, there were different things to do, but while at home, it was always meetings, get on to the virtual meeting rooms. So you're either there or you're calling somebody. So that activity increased, and there was hardly, when you're moving from one call to the other or one virtual room to another, there's hardly any time, and it was also convenient not to prepare the tea. So one good or bad habit I left, and let's see whether I catch it again or not. But yes, I like to keep myself fit. It makes me feel good. It takes away all the stresses that are induced in your mind and your body. So I like to either have a 1 hour walk minimum in a day, or if I was traveling, I used to hit the gym, or if I am unable to do both, do some yoga in your room. So there has to be something which keeps me very agile and nimble for the day.
Mm. You also mentioned with ma'am, you'd go for your morning walks. Is that your date time with her at time? That would be right to say?
Yes. Part of the daytime, the other part is in the kitchen in the evening. So these days, morning, evenings, we are doing it twice a day. So yes, this is our time. So we walk and talk. So we have a lot to share, both about the office, what happened the previous day. So that's our time. In the evening, again, we walk for about an hour. Then in the kitchen, we are talking and working. Yes, so I think it's good that after the lockdown, this time has doubled. So because we are exercising also in the evening, I'm not traveling now, so double the time that we get with each other.
Well, that could probably be the best part of the lockdown for you in that case, I would say. But I've asked all the other people who've been on the show, and I would want to ask you because of the positions all of you hold. Um, this entire lockdown and post lockdown now, briefly, in 2 lines, if you have to tell all your channel partners and fraternity at large um, how to go forward. What are the major things that they should be concerned about and not concerned about at the same time?
See, there are two things. First and foremost is the health and safety of people. So that is the first and foremost thing. 2020 is all about survival. You have to keep the top line, bottom line, a bit of green. Okay? We cannot get into losses. Okay, so that is first and foremost. The second thing is about financial stability. Manage your liquidity, manage cash. So these are the two things which I would propagate and advise to everybody. So, and continue to work on your strategies. This is only a temporary phase. We have to get used to this. We have to get used to the new normal. We have to evolve new ways of working. We have to think of new strategies, new opportunities. It is quite a VUCA world, but a VUCA world also throws in a lot of new opportunities. So we have to find out what these new opportunities are, and we have to encash these opportunities going forward.
Well, I don't need to elaborate more on it. You pretty much covered everything there for people. And it's true, we need to be agile, we need to be flexible, and that hopefully will stand us in good times going forward. With that, sir, I would like to thank you for being on the show. I got to know a lot more about you in this conversation, and I'm sure that will be true for a lot of people out there because you handle different verticals. So, having you always being part of various platforms is a little difficult, and it's understandable. But with this, I think all the people out there would have got to know a lot more about you and the personal side of you. So thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Karan. It was a great pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much. And for all of you out there, his story probably just tells me at least one thing. Success doesn't come overnight. You need to work hard for it. You need to put in sweat for to get to a position. The grass always looks greener on the other side, but it's important to understand the story behind that as well at the same time. Till the next week, when we get one more person from our industry and from our fraternity, take care of yourself and your loved ones. Khuda Hafiz, Alvida, Tata. Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you.